You've probably had a moment like this. You're just sitting there, not really doing anything. Maybe a little quieter than usual, a little more distant. The kind of feeling you don't even stop to name. And somehow, your cat shows up. It doesn't make a scene. It just comes closer, settles nearby, and stays there longer than it normally would. Not asking for anything, just there. At first, it feels like nothing, one of those small, forgettable moments. But if you pay attention, it doesn't feel as random as it looks. Because what seems like your cat simply being around you is often a reaction to something that shifted in you, something subtle enough that you might not even notice it yourself. And if you let that moment pass without thinking twice, you could be missing one of the quietest ways your cat tries to connect with you, right when it matters most. By the end of this video, you might start to see those moments differently and realize your cat has been picking up on things about you long before you ever did. 1. Your cat suddenly comes and sits near you when you're quiet or low energy. This usually starts in a very quiet way. You're not doing anything unusual. Maybe you've been sitting still a bit longer than normal, your mind drifting somewhere else. And at some point, your cat makes its way over. No sound, no obvious reason. It just settles nearby and stays. It's easy to dismiss it, feels like coincidence. But when you look at it more closely, that explanation doesn't quite hold up. Because nothing about your cat's timing is random. What draws it in isn't what you're doing, it's the shift underneath it. Something in your pace slows down. Your posture sinks a little without you realizing it. Even the way you sit there feels different, quieter, less engaged. To you, it's just a mood passing through. To your cat, it stands out immediately. Cats rely heavily on patterns. The rhythm of your movement, the small habits that repeat every day, those things are usually consistent. So when that rhythm breaks, even slightly, it catches their attention. That's what brings your cat closer. Not a need you can point to, just a subtle change it can feel. And when it chooses to stay there without asking for anything, there's a reason behind it, even if it doesn't look like much on the surface. 2. Your cat keeps staring at you longer than usual when you're feeling down. Sometimes it becomes a little more noticeable. You look up and realize your cat has been watching you longer than usual. Not the relaxed kind of glance you're used to. This one feels more focused, like it's trying to figure something out. It can seem odd at first, easy to brush off as one of those cats being cats moments. But that kind of attention doesn't happen without a reason. What your cat picks up on isn't anything obvious. It's the kind of detail most people miss completely. A slight change in how you breathe, the way your gaze lingers instead of shifting, how your body goes still in a way that isn't quite restful. None of that stands out on its own, but together it creates something unfamiliar, at least from your cat's point of view. And unfamiliar patterns don't get ignored, they get studied. That's what you're seeing in those moments. Not random staring, but a quiet attempt to understand what changed before reacting to it. 3. Your cat follows you quietly from room to room on certain days. On certain days, that attention doesn't stay in one place. You move into another room, and after a short pause, your cat appears there too. Not in a hurry, not looking for interaction, just keeping a comfortable distance while staying aware of where you are. It can feel like a habit, something your cat always does. But there's more going on underneath that. Cats don't move without purpose. Even in a safe home, that instinct never really goes away. When something in their environment feels different, they don't rush in right away. They stay aware, adjust their position, and keep track of what's happening before deciding what comes next. That same pattern shows up here. A small shift in your behavior is enough to trigger that awareness. Your movements don't follow the usual rhythm. Your presence feels slightly off. From your side, it's barely noticeable. From theirs, it's a change worth tracking. So they keep you within view, not crowding you, not interrupting, just staying close enough to understand what's going on. And once that instinct kicks in, It doesn't just disappear, it builds into something more direct. 4. Your cat suddenly climbs onto you or touches you more when you're upset. At some point, distance isn't enough anymore. That's when your cat moves closer and stays there. Maybe it climbs onto your lap. Maybe it settles against your chest, pressing in a little more than usual. It feels comforting, so it's natural to think it's just looking for affection. But in moments like this, the direction is often the opposite. Your cat isn't coming to you because it needs something. It's reacting to something it can feel. When your state shifts, physically, subtly, your body changes in ways you don't consciously track. The pace of your breathing, the tension in your muscles, the way you hold yourself, all of that carries information. And when those signals change enough, your cat doesn't stay at a distance anymore. It moves in. That contact serves a purpose. Cats are highly sensitive to rhythm. When they settle against you, they're tuning into that rhythm, your breathing, your stillness, the way your body settles over time. That's why the moment feels different, less playful, more grounded. But there's a detail most people miss. If that connection gets interrupted too quickly, if you shift away without thinking or move them aside out of habit, it breaks the moment before it fully settles. And over time, your cat adjusts to that. The next time something feels off, it may not come as close. 5. Your cat meows or tries to get your attention more when you're emotionally off. Not every cat handles it quietly. Sometimes, instead of staying close or observing from a distance, they start using their voice more. You'll hear it in the way they call out, pause, then try again, like they're trying to get your attention in a more direct way. At first, it can seem like they want something simple, food maybe, or just attention. But behavior like that usually comes after other signals didn't quite land. Something felt different, and the usual ways of responding to it weren't enough. So the approach changes. Sound becomes the easiest way to close the gap. Not because it's their first choice, but because it's harder to miss. And if you think about it, that shift says a lot. Cats rely heavily on quiet communication. When that stops working, they don't stay in the same place, they adapt. So when the meowing becomes more persistent, it's often tied to a kind of uncertainty. Not loud, not dramatic, just a quiet need to reconnect with something that doesn't feel as steady as it usually does. And if that uncertainty lingers, their response starts to change again. 6. Your cat slowly approaches you, hesitates, then chooses to stay close when you're down. There are moments that are easy to overlook. Your cat approaches, but not in the usual way. It slows down, pauses for a second, then comes a little closer, almost like it's checking whether it should. That hesitation is important, because when everything feels normal, your cat doesn't move like that. It's more direct, more certain. Here, something feels different, and even with that uncertainty, it still chooses to stay. That's not just instinct anymore, it's a decision. A quiet one, but a real one. Your cat is picking up on the fact that something about you has shifted, and at the same time, it isn't pulling away from it. Instead, it stays close. Not because it understands exactly what you're feeling, but because being near you still feels like the right place to be. And that choice doesn't happen automatically. It's shaped over time, through every interaction, every moment where your cat learns what it feels like to be around you. When your cat sits near you, watches a little longer, or stays close in those quiet moments, it's easy to see it as something small, something that just happens. But those moments aren't random. They're responses, subtle reactions to changes in you that often go unnoticed from your side. And when you start to see them that way, something shifts. Because your cat isn't just sharing space with you, it's constantly adjusting, paying attention, deciding again and again whether it feels right to stay close. And sometimes, on the days when you feel the most disconnected, your cat is the one thing that noticed first and didn't walk away.